Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for joining me. Happy Wednesday to the viewing audience, chat members, and new subs. Thank you for your time. This commentary is pertaining to the Kansas City deaths of three men who were visiting an alleged friend for a game. Now, you're entitled to your interpretation of that information because the story is ever evolving, ever changing. A fifth person has been introduced into the story to say he left all four men behind, Mr. Jordan Willis and the three decedents. What is the truth? And why has he changed his version from information that derived last week, derived from Jordan's attorney, that this man, the fifth wheel, could corroborate Jordan's story. But now the story is different because now this person, male, says he left them all there alive. So what is the truth? We will dissect everything that has been said, insinuated. We will dissect every theory because there will be many. You're entitled to your opinion. I do not know how I feel as far as what actually happened because I can't say I wasn't there. But I was leaning towards a concoction done by the scientist. And I only came up with that theory because he's an alleged scientist. But the more I listen to different people's opinions, I don't know because I don't know the men. So I can't say. But what I will say from that theory, that if indeed this was an accidental overdose by three men, I do believe Mr. Jordan had knowledge that they had passed away and he attempted to cover it up or play possum. That's where I'm leaning at the moment. If accidental, he did know of the men in the backyard. Thank you for joining me. Countdown to the Queen's birthday next Monday. Should be the big 5-3. Amen. Fox 4 News Kansas City is the source if you need verification for the information. So 1 second, everybody.
After three bodies were found in the backyard of a Northland home, there are more inconsistencies tonight. The families now more frustrated and upset than they've been thus far. Welcome to Fox 4 News at 9. I'm Christelle Bell.
And I'm John Holt. It was first on Fox 4 last night. The man who lived at the home has moved out. Plus, the fact that there was a fifth person at that home. Tonight, only on Fox 4, we're learning more about that night from that man and his lawyer. Fox 4's Malik Jackson, who broke the story, joins us live from police headquarters downtown. Malik, they're flat out disputing the account of what we've heard so far.
John and Christelle, I spoke on the phone with that fifth man, and he said without hesitation he was not the last person to see these three men alive. That is a claim that Jordan Willis's attorney made last night, that today he is walking back. The attorney for this fifth man says his client left the home just after midnight, and when he left, all four men were still there. They were still awake, and they were watching TV.
It's just a cover-up. Something's wrong with the picture.
Jim McGinney, the uncle of Clayton McGinney, is upset, frustrated, and to this point displeased as the story of what happened on that Sunday night in the Northland gets less clear and more foggy by the day. John Paserno, the attorney for the man who lived at the home, has had an evolving story since Friday. First, he said the fifth person was still there when the three men died. He would change his tune in a News Nation interview hours later.
Before he fell asleep, they were going to leave. He actually escorted them to the door, said their goodbyes, opened the door. He went back on the couch and he crashed.
That statement running contrary to what Paserno told us just hours before. In an exclusive conversation with Fox 4, the fifth man's attorney, Andrew Touch, tells us his client arrived at the home around 7 p.m. He left just after midnight, and when he left, all three men and Jordan Willis were alive and watching Jeopardy! Dowd says his client then received a text from Clayton McGeeney's fiance and Ricky Johnson's mother on Tuesday, inquiring about their whereabouts. At that point, he texted Willis and Johnson. He never got a response. That's another.
Let's go back to that. Let's repeat that. His client
then received a text from Clayton McGeeney's fiance and Ricky Johnson's mother on Tuesday, inquiring about their whereabouts. At that point, he texted Willis and Johnson. He never got a response. That's another inconsistency. Willis's attorney said his client never received any text, just messages through Facebook. We contacted Paserno about this, and he declined to comment.
Man up. Man up.
What is
going to tell us what happened? He knows. He has to know. He's a grown man, too. He has to know what happened.
He has to know what happened.
Dowd tells us that his client is upset and sad, and he just wants answers as to what happened to his friends. At last check, KCPD is still waiting on the medical examiner to determine a cause of death. Christelle.
All right, Malik, you mentioned wanting answers. Have police interviewed this fifth person? Do you know?
So we know that they made contact with him in the days after these bodies were discovered. Over the last few weeks, though, they have made contact back with KCPD, but an interview with this fifth person has still yet to be completed. And as for McGeeney's family, they say since this all happened, they haven't heard a mumbling word from police. John, Christelle.
All right, Malik Jackson live at KCP head.
All right. Kansas 4. Fox 4 is the source. So we have many versions circulating around, coming from Jordan to his attorney, and now a fifth person with an attorney. Why haven't you talked to the police, sir? Why haven't you done a formal interview? I'm curious. Did you know about these bodies in the backyard, sir? Helped in any way? Says he left all 4 men alive watching Jeopardy. Is that true? Why do we have discrepancies? That's where people are confused. Because when the news first broke the story, local news, there was no mentioning of a fifth wheel, which I find very strange. So let me guess. You were either there when everything went down, viewing the bodies, left, played possum, or Mr. Jordan contacted you to tell you what happened, if you indeed left at 12 midnight or after 12. So you were there allegedly 5 hours. See, we don't know what's the truth. And that's where CCTV footage is going to come in, doorbell cameras, so on and so forth. Why do you have a lawyer, number one? You haven't done anything. Same thing for Mr. Jordan. And yes, I know innocent people can get lawyers. I'm not stupid. I'm just asking a question. Why do both of you have lawyers? You haven't done anything. No crime has been committed. Allegedly, let this attorney tell it. Attorney number one. No foul play. We also got information recently from one of the relatives, uncle, I don't know if it's the same uncle, that Mr. Jordan, you were arrested. So were you arrested or you weren't arrested? I am just quite befuddled with the information. Let's go to some more commentary. Then I will break down my questions per the information given by these participants. It's very strange. Let's go to KMBC 9, hear what they have to say, because everybody's got a version pertaining to this nonsense. You don't know what to believe. Most of us want to know why is the story changing.
In the Northland, where the bodies of 3 men were found in a backyard.
The attorney representing the man who rents the home says they were 5 men in the home at the time. KMBC 9's Brian Johnson is live with the latest on this investigation. Brian.
Christopher police have said since the very beginning that there was no evidence of foul play. Tonight, everyone is waiting on that toxicology and the autopsy report, and we're learning it will still be a few weeks till we find out the cause of death. After the January 7th Chiefs victory against the Chargers, Jordan Willis and 4 friends go to the home he rents on Northwest 83rd Terrace, just south of Berry Road in Platte County.
These were 3 friends, 2 of which were lifelong friends from high school.
Attorney John Paserno represents Willis. Around 2 a.m., right before Willis falls asleep on the couch, he says the 3 other friends leave out the front door. A 5th friend left earlier. 2 days later, police find 3 men dead in the backyard. 38-year-old Ricky Johnson, 36-year-old Clayton McGinney, and 37-year-old David Harrington.
So he's devastated by the loss of his friends. If there was something he could have done to help them, he would have done it. They're his friends.
Paserno says Willis had no idea the men were missing. Many want to know if drugs were involved or if they'd been drinking together or what could have happened.
I'm unable to comment on exactly that kind of activity for a variety of reasons, and I don't want to speculate about what went on.
Police say one of the men's fiancés went to the house and discovered a body on the back porch. That prompted the investigation. Paserno says no one knows how the friends ended up in the backyard. He says Willis has always been cooperative with police.
So let's find out what happened before we try to cast some blame at some innocent person who was guilty of no wrongdoing whatsoever.
Brian Johnson, KMBC 9 News.
All right, it's K9. Walked them to the door. Can't speculate what happened. He doesn't know, allegedly. Who's to say he hasn't already told him the truth of what happened? So he's trying to come up with a defense for this man. He has been cooperating with the police, Mr. Jordan. He's saddened by what has happened to his friends, and he wants to get to the bottom of what happened to them as well. Well, is that true? Because I don't know. I haven't the foggiest idea. Changing story from tenant's attorney. News Nation. Uploaded 8 hours ago. Just bringing you the latest, everybody. This is why I always tell you about true crime. You either believe what the people are saying or you don't. Eyewitness, suspect, person of interest. You don't know what's the truth.
Following a Chiefs viewing party, an attorney involved is now changing his story once again. This has been a back and forth here. The tenant's lawyer saying another friend, a 5th person, was still there after his client had gone to sleep. But the other friend telling our News Nation affiliate in an exclusive interview that he wasn't the last person to see the 3 men alive. And when he left, the tenant, Jordan Willis, was still awake. Correspondent Elizabeth Pran has been following this one, all the details. Elizabeth, what are we supposed to make of all these changing stories? What's to believe?
I know, Marquis, there is a lot. Like you said, our affiliate Fox 4 has been on this story. As you mentioned, it's been 2 weeks, multiple storylines, and now we're getting it from 2 attorneys. So that 5th man is represented by an attorney named Andrew Talsh, and he is speaking to our affiliate, and he says his client arrived at 7 p.m. and left at midnight that night, and that all of the men were watching Jeopardy at the time. So the 3 men, including Jordan Willis, who was renting the home, the 3 men are Ricky Johnson, Clayton McGinney, and David Harrington. So what we're also learning is that their families were sending desperate texts on that Monday afterwards, the days following, to both men. This, again, is inconsistent because Willis's attorney, his name is John Paserno, told us that there was only communication via Facebook. So we've gotten multiple storylines from John Paserno, including one that he gave our own Ashley Banfield, essentially telling Banfield that the men walked out, that he saw them walk out. But he told local media this.
As people do, they get tired. There are people who are very close to you, and then you feel comfortable going to bed and allowing them to leave whenever they want to leave.
What police do tell us is that there were no signs of foul play at the scene and that Willis is cooperating with attorneys. But now, Marquis, we are just simply waiting on the toxicology and the medical examiner report.
Yeah, obviously none of us know what to make of this. There's still a lot to figure out, but you would think the attorney might stop talking until there was one story that he had it boiled down to. We'll see what the next one has in store. Elizabeth Pran, thanks so much. Thanks for watching, everybody.
News Nation is the source. Thank you for joining me. Let's get down to business, everybody. Fifth wheel introduced. Who is he? What's his name? Is he telling the truth that he got there at 7 p.m. and left after 12? He left the four men, the decedents and Mr. Jordan, watching Jeopardy. Were they watching Jeopardy? I'd like to know, how did you get in contact with the police, sir? Because we didn't hear about you when the story broke. The news never mentioned you. When I go back and watch videos, there's no mention of you. Just three dead men and a friend. How about that? So I'd like to know if Jordan called you to say, oh, yeah, what's up? Our friends were found dead in the back. I don't know what happened. And what's strange about the story is that the original attorney, which is Mr. Jordan's attorney, said you corroborated what he said initially about not knowing that the guys were there, allegedly. So we don't really know if you told the lawyer, the first lawyer, that you changed your mind or the lawyer is lying. Now let's let everybody sit on that for just a second. Because as I always tell you, everything's about a version. You don't know who is telling the truth in a story. So how did you find out that the guys were deceased? You heard the story on the news, you got concerned, curious, you called Mr. Jordan. Number one, because police couldn't contact you without having your name. Uh-oh. Bring it to him, Queen. Say it again. Police couldn't have contacted you unless ding, 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 ding. Somebody gave up your name. And I'm going to run it to you like this. Either Jordan gave up your name that you were there, or somebody else was in the room. Oops. Now they're saying other people, from what I'm going to bring you via an article. So this is why I always tell everybody not to get all flustered about what you're hearing, because each news entity will have something different, worded different, and a different source will go to different news entities to spin the story. So I've read today that there were more than just the five. Now, what about that? How many people were at that house January 7th? Where did they watch the damn game? Every news source says something different. Please, somebody get it right. Did you all watch the game at the damn stadium? Was it a home game, or you watched it at a bar? You watched it at Billy Bob's house, Susie Mae's house? You watched it at a bar? Where did you watch the game? Number one. Or two. Number three. How many people went to the house? How many cars were parked outside in the driveway? How many people doubled up in a car? How many people were at this house January 7th? Game watched there, game wasn't. What did you all do when you got back to the house? Stay inside, stay outside. Which is it? Where were the dogs? Rumor says you left them with your father. So convenient you have an answer, Mr. Jordan, for every damn thing. So then we have to ask that. Why would your dogs be with your father? Your daddy was, he was babysitting because you all were out partying. You needed a babysitter. You needed somebody to make sure they got walked and, potty trained, or, you know what I'm saying, they had to go to the restroom. But people have dogs and they leave their dogs home all damn day. They just walk them when they get home. I'm just saying. And if you only gone for a few hours, anybody listening to what I'm saying? Anybody listening to what I'm saying? If you were gone only a few hours, what was the purpose of your daddy watching the dogs? 7 to 12 is your timeline. Left the guys playing Jeopardy. Were there use of drugs on this January 7th into the 8th? Because we don't really know a timeline. Or was there a concoction given to the men by Mr. Jordan? He's a scientist, so did he give them something that he made over the counter? Access to it from the company he worked for? Ordered it online? street drugs mixed with something? Did someone bring a drug or more brought drugs to the house? Very strange. Is the fifth wheel the dealer? Uh-oh. How about that? Is the fifth wheel the dealer? Is the fifth wheel speaking to Jordan? Uh-oh. Why does the fifth wheel have an attorney now? Uh-oh. Once again, how did the fifth wheel get involved to be contacted by the police, but yet he ain't gave no formal interview? Uh-oh. Why not? Yeah, okay. Cars left on the street. Were they moved? 2 cars allegedly were they originally parked on the street by the dead men? Who all rode with whom? Were they ever parked in the driveway? Did anybody from the house ever go into the cars to do anything mischievous, steal something, move the cars? What are we talking about? Doorbell cameras from the neighbors? Will we find out that there's footage of people coming and going and more than the 4 or 5 mentioned in this storyline? Does this man have a camera? If he did, was it working? Removal of evidence. Police say there was nothing at the scene. But was there something at the scene and they did not do a thorough job gathering materials or anything, cigarette butt, whatever, outside? What is the footage of the victims lying outside? One's on the porch, 2 are in the yard. What is the circumference? I also heard one uncle mention that one of the guys didn't have a coat on and he would always wear a coat. Well, if the uncle thinks he knows his relative, I'm not here to argue. I mean, it is the Midwest. It does get awfully cold. Chilly is probably putting it mildly. Chilly is 39 degrees. But night air is a little bit different than daytime air for anybody that lives in a cold climate. So then you have to ask, did all the men visiting that were found dead, did they wear coats to the house, number one? Did they take their coats off while there? I would assume they would. If they went outside to smoke a cigarette or smoke some whatever, did they wear their coat outside? Now, some guys are hot-natured. They can stand the cold a little bit more than other people. Men and women are different. So guys can stand and huddle around in the cold, even without a coat on. This guy, older gentleman, is saying his relative would not have been outside without a coat. So that means somebody that went back and told the guy was outside without a coat on. So now we got to ask, did he have a coat on the inside of the house? Were there coats left inside? What was left inside by the victims? Coats, keys, cell phones, anything personal? Did anybody take anything off of the person's jewelry, credit cards, debit cards, cash app cards, anything used felonious in this time frame of the men lying out there deceased for 2 days? Did the fourth wheel actually leave at 12 or 12-ish? Or did he stay behind to help move bodies outside? Because we need to find out if the gentlemen actually were deceased on the inside and then moved outside to make it look like they passed out there. So what is the truth? So this is where forensics is going to have to tell us how they were lying, face down, on their side, on their back, how far away they were from each other. Anybody foaming at the mouth threw up. All that's going to be pertinent. Basically, the police is just making it seem like they just went outside and laid down and died. Now, this is no disrespect, but that's how the police is making it sound. Oh, they just went outside and died. Ain't no foul play. Well, just because you don't see entry wounds, exit wounds, does not mean this could not be a deliberate crime. So now we wait on the autopsies and the toxicology reports. Once again, did the men pass out inside and Mr. Jordan and the fifth wheel or others took them out to make it look like they fell outside? So will we see drag marks, any fabric on the patio belonging to any of the men, any scrapings of belt buckles on the ground? Was there snow? Because I think you can tell if someone was dragged in the snow because they'll leave an imprint. Then that means you'd have to move the snow around as not to show that you drugged them outside. What is the truth about the timeline of the fifth wheel? He was there after 12 or not? Help move bodies outside or not? Saw bodies inside and panic. I got to get out of here. See you later, alligator. Jordan walked them to the door. Did he lock the door? Was the front door locked? I would assume it wasn't because the girl came knocking on the door. Common sense, if it was unlocked, she would have opened it. He went to bed. Bed or couch. Two different versions. So you walked them to the door, went to bed, to the couch. Then it's, I left them behind to do their thing, possibly. I can't keep up with the versions. Also, with the car doors of the guys' cars left behind, were they locked or unlocked? Once again, were they moved? Why the change in a couple of days of these different versions coming from Mr. Jordan and the fifth wheel? Once again, is the fifth wheel and Mr. Jordan speaking? Once again, why no mention of the fifth wheel when the story first broke? This is strange to me. Did the men go outside on their own and fell out there? If they went outside, how long were they out there? Did somebody get sick? One after the other got sick? Or were they inside feeling unwell and ran outside to get air? And where was Mr. Jordan if, let's say, this happened? Watching them, looking, laughing, pretending to help, to aid? Drug usage. Hypothetically, if this is about drugs, either concocted by Mr. Jordan or any persons in that house, brought drugs, a mixture of drugs, who all imbibed besides the dead men, if we're to believe that's what they died from? And I'm not here to accuse anyone of drug usage, just saying hypothetically. We got 2 now standing and 3 down. Imagine that. You start with 3 dead, 1 alive, don't know anything, and then a week later, here comes another guy who corroborated the story last week, but now he's gotten a lawyer and changed his mind and said, I left them there. Are we dealing with people with old habits? The young men who are no longer here. Did they all imbibe in drugs? Were they drinking? Was anybody legally drunk? Is this an issue of mixed drinks and drugs? Was it frequent use of drugs or recreational? Used every day or once a month, twice a month? I don't know. Once again, the dogs. Sir, did you take your dogs to your father's house once you saw the guys outside? At some point, you saw the guys outside. You realized they were deceased, and you said to yourself, I got to get these dogs out of here because I can't take them outside because they'll bark profusely. And I don't want any attention being drawn to this house because I'm getting ready to play possum and not open the doors and answer the phones. Checkmate. You also heard in the commentary I played that people were messaging you, Mr. Jordan. And you are basically saying, no, didn't nobody call me. They ain't call me. They didn't text me. Only through Facebook Messenger. So let's talk about Facebook Messenger for those of you who do not imbibe in Facebook Messenger. you will only see a message if, one, you are friends with the person. So the people who were sending the messages, were they his Facebook friend? Because if they were not, they go into a little corner in Facebook land, and you have to go in and retrieve the message out. And many people don't go in there. That's why messages get missed. So is that one part of the story that he's telling the truth? Because if they weren't his friends, they're sitting in that little message box. And a person has to deliberately go in there to see the messages. What's the truth? Were the family Facebook friends when they sent the messages, so it would have went directly into Messenger? Mr. Jordan is denying getting any type of text or messages. But we also hear that you read messages from their phones. So then that means they were 9 times out of 10 deceased, and you were going through their phones. For what reason, sir? Because you can tell when someone has read a message through Messenger and also directly through your phone service. You might have forgot about that. But this is what happens if you indeed harm these men you weren't thinking. And most criminals don't. Just saying, hypothetically. Did he take the dogs to the father's house because he knew his friends were dead and didn't want the dogs barking at dead people in the yard? Did you wait for a while to try to think of what you were going to do if indeed you knew that your friends were deceased back there? 2 days is a long time for people to lie out into the elements. Thank God it was cold outside, because cold and snow preserves the body. So at what point, hypothetically, did this man know his friends were out there? I'm just curious. He claims to have no knowledge. Were you ever going to call 911 to say you saw your friends? You went to the door in what? Your pajamas, boxers, and an empty wine glass. Sir, are you an alcoholic? Because I would believe that you work from home and it was daylight savings time. Let's say hypothetical, they went to the house. I don't know the time that police showed up, or can't remember rather. If it was daylight time and during business hours, why would you be drinking wine working on the computer? Unless you have a very lax position as a scientist. I don't know. You didn't hear that lady knocking. She broke in. So what was her conversation with you? I haven't heard that. Hey, what's going on? My boyfriend's car out here, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing? Just standing there twiddling your thumbs? Or scared shitless? So then she somehow makes her way outside. So she had to have seen all the bodies. Because I can't see you only saw one dead person and you didn't see the other two. I think it'd be kind of hard to miss unless it was a lot of snow. So when she saw the dead body, what did she do? Touch him, roll him over, what? Try to, what? CPR, what? And then what did she say to you? This is where I get so confused. What is the conversation? Because let me tell you, this is no disrespect to white people, but this could not have been nobody black that went out on that porch and seen their boyfriend out there dead. Lord, have mercy. It probably would have been somebody else laying down with them. Shut up, Queen. Ding, 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 ding. We getting ready to turn this mother out. Hello, everybody in chat. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the happy birthday. Thank you, sweetie. What is my boyfriend doing laying down here? What them other two guys doing there? What the hell going on in here? Kind of something like that. I want to know what the hell's going on in here. Or she was scared and possibly could have ran out, thinking, hell, maybe he killed her. Let me get the hell out of here. See, everybody behaves differently. I want to know, what did you say when she saw the deceased bodies? Sir, what did you say to her? Ma'am, what did you say to him? You didn't try to hit him, push him, shove him around? I'm utterly confused. You slept on the couch. You slept on a bed. Which is it? You walked your friends to the door. You left them up socializing. So when you say they were socializing, who are you referring to? The 3 dead men and the 5th wheel, or just the 3 dead men? See, the story keeps changing. Once again, did you lock the door back? Or you went and slept and the guys locked the door? I don't know where this is going. And this attorney, let me talk to you for a second. You keep sitting up here talking to all these news people, Banfield. You might want to stop talking. As you told the news entities, I always advise my clients not to speak. Well, this is a point when you should say, oh, take your own advice. Because you are spinning a web that is dangerous, sir. There is no way I would go back to the news and repeat something different than what I put out the week before. Who does that? Usually people do that when they speak freely on their own without representation. You are so damn dumb for an attorney. You're going to tell us, well, I tell my clients, don't talk. But yet you have gone to the news 2 times telling different versions. Lights on, lights off. Hell, we should have asked that question. Were the lights on in the house or the lights were off? Was he burning candles or what? Did the fireplace work? Did they have a fireplace? This is how stupid this has gotten. House shoes on, house shoes off. Because now we got to ask ourselves, if there are other people in that house, what was really going on up in there? And do I really believe that them guys was sitting around watching Jeopardy? So that would lead me to believe what? They were just crunk, drunk, and high. Allegedly. Hypothetically. We done went from video games to Jeopardy. And one guy on his network said he heard they were shooting dice. I don't know anything about that. Because the dead can't talk, so I don't know where he got that from. And what did I always tell you about aversion? It's just that. You don't know what is the truth. The only thing that's going to make sense is the toxicology reports and the autopsies. That is the only way you'll be able to put this story together. Because she or he will give us manner of death, time of death, any bruising on the body that you couldn't see with clothes on, if you get my drift. That's the only way this is going to be put together. Oh, yeah, you couldn't hear the girl knocking. At least she had a guy with her because you had a headset on. So you had a headset on and was drinking wine. Lord have mercy, I'm dead, Satan. Oh, your lawyer also said you left the house sporadically, but then he said before that, you never left the house. Are y'all hearing this? Shoes on, shoes off. Shoes on, shoes off. Did you clean up, Jordan? Were you witnessing your friends dying and you shut the door? You began to clean up to get everything tidy and ready. If we find out this was an overdose by street drugs or a concoction by you or somebody, you knew that they were deceased and you went back in and shut the door and you started cleaning up things and possibly going through pockets and doing all type of frivolous, nefarious deeds to get your house in order. So when the police decide to come, there's nothing left behind. Checkmate. That's why you had no problem with letting the police in. Ding dong, the witch is dead. And did you also clean up outside? That's why I asked what the guys had thrown up. Foam around the mouth. Just asking. I don't use drugs, so I don't know what happens when you overdose or poison. Each thing does something different to each person. Google searches. That was mentioned on this young man's channel last night. Very good live, I must say. Well, we find out you have Google searches that are nefarious in nature before and after the deaths of your so-called friends. Once again, empty wine glass, going to the door in boxers to talk to the cops. Did you only open the door because you had that girl and that guy standing there? Well, they got me. Better go on and open the door now. How I'm going to explain this? These dead people back here. Oh, boy. Are you really remorseful that your friends are deceased? You want to get to the bottom of this? Well, we pray that for your sake, you're not at the bottom of this. Because we have 3 dead men now. And something is off. But as I told Latrice last night, one of the chat members, it could be just we don't know what's in the toxicology and the autopsy, that when that information is revealed, all the pieces will be put together. Everything will make sense. Are you an addict or an alcoholic, Mr. Jordan Willis? Were any of the other men addicts, alcoholics? Do you actually work from home? Do you have a stable job, salary job with this company? Or will we find out that's not the truth either? You moved out. Neighbor said she saw a U-Haul, didn't see much movement. So did you move out because you were afraid to stay there for retaliation, or the news people coming by making it uncomfortable for you to live there, worried about your job being in jeopardy? Why did you move out, sir? And where are you now? State of Missouri, Kansas City area, outside suburbs? Where are you? Where are you staying? And don't you know, I would find it hard to see somebody renting to you after this. But hey, the housing market is so high, they probably wouldn't give a damn. They probably wouldn't give a damn. How many more versions are we going to hear about January 7th? What will the toxicology and autopsy reports reveal? Street drugs, lab drugs, concoction of both? Cocktail made by Mr. Jordan? Cocktail made by any of the guys that were present? And why do we have 2 standing, 3 down? Is this an issue of over-the-counter mix with alcohol? Over-the-counter mix by Mr. Jordan to exact revenge on his friends? What will the reports reveal? Did you offer them the mix? Hey, I want you to try this. Got something for you. And they took it. So this will lead us to wonder if this is true, that the guys imbibing narcotics, street drugs, that it is what it is. It wouldn't be no problem with you offering it. Are we going to find out you don't use drugs, but you offered the drugs? Or you knew that your friends used drugs? You didn't care. Will we find out that one never used drugs, but he has drugs in his system? One or more. How's this going to play out? One of the relatives says that you were arrested. But we haven't heard that you were arrested because the police says it's no foul play. So where are they getting that from? And if it's true that you were arrested, why was it not on the news when they first reported that the men were found deceased? I'm confused as all get out. What is the truth of what happened? Let's now go into the belly of the beast again. I want to pull up some more content, and then I will drop the link. And if you want to join the Queen, you are welcome to come up on the panel and voice your opinion pertaining to this debacle out of Kansas City, because it is becoming all too familiar. And this happens because we don't know everything. As I said, once we get the reports back, everything may just fall into place. Everything may fall into place once we get the autopsies and the toxicology reports back to show if there was any type of street drug concoction mix inside of the gentleman. And people are definitely wondering, why in the world you are alive? You ain't Mr. Fifth Wheel. I got a funny feeling you and Fifth Wheel aren't talking, Mr. Jordan. How about that? Let's replay what's been said. 2 weeks after 3 friends were found dead outside a Kansas City home, an attorney involving is changing his story yet again. Attorney John Paserno told Fox 4 on Monday there was a 5th person hanging out at the home where Clayton McGinney, David Harrington, and Ricky Johnson were later found. It happened at a rental home near Northwest 83rd Terrace and North Overland Drive in Platte County. The 3 victims, as well as the tenant, Jordan Willis, and a 5th friend, had all gathered to watch the Kansas City Chiefs' last regular season game on January 7th. Here's another discrepancy. First, they're watching the game. Now I've played you commentary in this live stream that they watched the game somewhere else and returned back to the house to piddle around. So which is the truth? They watched the damn game or they didn't. In a statement Saturday, Paserno said the last time Willis saw the 3 men was when they left the house and he went to bed. But then Paserno confirmed to Fox 4 on Monday that a 5th person was present and still there with the 3 victims when Willis went to sleep. See, another version. At some point, he got tired and went to sleep while there were these guys in the home. And as I know now, there was a couple of other people in the home. Ooh, say it again, Queen. If you need verification, it's Fox 4. Say it again, Queen, because ain't nobody listening. At some point, and this is in quotations, he got tired and went to sleep while there were these guys in the home. And as I know now, there was a couple of other people in the home, unquote, Paserno said Monday. So now we have more than 5. I want y'all to just sit there and just marinate on that for just a second. Maybe we need a moment of silence so everybody can get their bearings in the chat and the viewing audience. We've gone from bed, couch, left them up, went to sleep, walked to the door, 5th wheel left at 12, corroborated the original story, and oh my goodness, what is the truth? What is the truth? Now, one day later, Paserno said he misspoke. The attorney said Willis escorted the men to the door, said their goodbyes, then went back to the couch and fell asleep. Where is the couch located? Top floor, main floor, basement. Is there a basement? Utility room, garage? Help the Queen understand. Where is the couch located in the house? Where is the couch located in proximity to that kitchen door that leads to that slab of concrete in the back where one of the victims was found? 5th friend. Fox 4 spoke with the 5th person who was at the home via the phone. At this point, we're not naming him. Hell, do you even have his name? I'm just saying. He said when he left, the 3 victims and Willis were still awake. He stressed that it's absolutely not true that he was the last person to see the 3 men alive. Let's stop right there. So, Mr. Attorney and Mr. Jordan, why would you all put out to the street weeks later that there's a 5th wheel, number 1? And then why would you say, oh, Ray was here, he can corroborate my version. But then now, Ray obviously has been listening to the news reports and social media, and he's in his feelings, and he's like, oh, hell no. Ain't nobody getting ready to say I was here with no dead men. Ding, 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 ding. I got to change that. Oh, hell to the no. I got to get on the horn and let them folks know. Oh, no. I left there at midnight. Well, did you leave at midnight? Did you get there at 7? So let me think about that for just a second. This is why I always like when people talk, because this is how you put the story together. If you were there from 7 to 12, come on with it, Queen, ain't nobody listening. Then you all didn't go watch the game nowhere else. Bingo card. Shut your mouth. Football games last 3 to 3.5 hours, depending on if they go into overtime. Yes, Queen does watch football. So therefore, You all couldn't have watched the game somewhere else and came back there to party, because this guy, Fifth Wheel, says I was there between 7 and 12. So what are we saying? He was there by himself watching the game and y'all came in after from the bar somewhere else? See, this is why people don't think when they talk. And this is really what lawyers love, especially if there's a crime. The state's attorney loves it. Please keep talking, because we're just going to use it in court. So now, Jordan, Mr. Attorney, for the last damn time, where did the men watch the damn game? In this house or somewhere else? Because Fifth Wheel says I was there for 5 hours. That's long enough for a football team to play. Honey, Ellie, I don't know when the game was. That's what I'm saying. I don't know anything. So let's go there. If the game started at 3, it possibly would have ended 6 o'clock, 6:30, 6:45, depending. So thanks for letting me know that. 3 o'clock. So like I said, the average football game lasts 3.5 hours. So let's go there. The game was at 3. It was on for 3+ hours. They then went back to this house and stayed. So that's why I need verification of when the game was on. Okay, let me pull it up. Hold on. Because I don't want to quote anything that's not factual. Kansas City Chiefs and Chargers game January 7th.
According to Fox Sports, Mike Edwards, Harrison Butker propelled Chiefs past Chargers 13-12 without Mahomes or Kelsey. Mike Edwards returned a fumble 97 yards for a touchdown.
Okay. There we have, let me see.
And Chiefs beat the Chargers 13-12 while.
They're giving you the score. They're not giving you the time. Hold on, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Well, I have to verify. That way I can tie it into my commentaries to make it all make sense. Because this is just ridiculous. 11:24 p.m. Let's see. They're giving all the stats, but not the time. Okay, I have to go in and be more specific. One minute, everybody. See, it's got different. It talks about everything but the time. I don't understand why they don't get a time. This is weird. Hold on a minute, you guys. Yeah, because I'm getting 2 different times. I just want to make sure I don't repeat anything wrong during the live stream. They don't know how to. See, they don't put up stuff. January 5th. No, it's not saying. 4:25. There we go. Chargers will kick off at 4:25 on Sunday. The game will be played at Sophie Stadium in Inglewood, California. Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. There we have it. Thank you, Cornbread. 4:25. So 3 hours, 7 plus. At least 3 hours. 4:25. That makes sure the game started on time. Then you got to count wherever they were to get back to the house. See, all those things matter when you're setting up the stage for a timeline. So if the game went at least 3 hours, you're still talking about 7:25. And then you got to leave the place where you are. Everybody got to get in their car, drive over to this house. Don't know how far this place will be from the venue where you watch the game. It would be later than that, unless you're right around the corner. So I'm going to say this, because you're getting all these different versions. Where did you all watch the damn game? Because you could not have watched it at that house unless you all left the venue early because they were losing and then headed back to the house. Pay attention, everybody. See, this is the one thing people don't think about when they are up to no good, conspiring, lying. They don't think before they speak. So where did you all watch the damn game? Did you watch it at this man's house, or you watched it somewhere else and then returned back to the house to gather? Very interesting. Because it all started with, oh, they went over to this man's house to watch a game. But when you talk about football, the game can run 3 hours plus long. Somebody's lying here. How about that? Somebody's lying. And you just decide who you think is lying. Because we ain't got but 2 breathing. And we don't even know what the second person looked like. We haven't seen the first person, formerly Mr. Jordan. This is all nonsense. So let's go back. The 5th friend is not being named. He said when he left, the 3 victims and Willis were still awake. He stressed that it's absolutely not true, that he was the last person to see the 3 men alive. After asking a few more questions, he directed Fox 4 to his attorney, Andrew Tagle. In an interview with Fox 4, Tagle said his client arrived at Willis's house around 7 that Sunday. He said his client, oh, Lord have mercy, was hanging out with the 4 others until about midnight. It's at that point when he left. According to Tagle, when his client left Willis's home, the 4 men were watching Jeopardy. Most importantly, he said they were still alive during those early hours Monday. Paserno said multiple times that the only messages Willis received were via Facebook Messenger. He didn't receive any text messages or calls. Is that true? But Tagle disputes part of that, saying sometime Tuesday, his client received a text message from Clayton McGinney's fiance and from Ricky Johnson's mother asking about their loved ones. So the text messages that these people sent to the 5th wheel, was it through Messenger or through the regular phone? Because the lawyer's saying his client got information about where they were. At that point, Tagle's client sent a text message to Willis and to Johnson, and Johnson will be one of the decedents. He never received a response. Very interesting. So somebody has reached out to Fifth Wheel. Fifth Wheel then goes to contact Willis, Mr. Jordan, the homeowner, and one of the dead people, but he don't get a response. Fox 4 asked Paserno about this discrepancy, and he declined to comment. How about that? So you are just sitting up here spinning all these lies to the public. You got 3 dead men. Don't nobody know what happened but the people there. And then the news people ask you about the discrepancy, but you decline to comment, but you the one that's steady on the damn news talking on behalf of Mr. Jordan. Ask yourself, does that make any damn sense? It's just one of many inconsistencies in the story of what happened in the hours and days after family friends lost contact with the 3 men before they were ultimately found dead. It's got a lot of holes in it, like the last time he saw them. They were leaving the house, but he didn't know they had left. That doesn't make much sense, Caleb McGinney, cousin of Clayton McGinney, told Fox 4 in an interview Monday. In an interview with News Nation on Friday night, Paserno said his client had left the home sporadically. Ding, ding, ding. Yep. Say it again, Queen. Friday night, he told News Nation that Mr. Jordan left sporadically Monday and Tuesday. So which is it? He left the house or he didn't? Because before that, you said he never left. Now, he reversed course on Monday saying that what he said was poorly phrased and offered a new explanation. What I meant to say on News Nation is that he left, he was sleeping, and he left his bedroom sporadically, he said. Oh my God. So now you mean to say he never left the damn house, but he left his room. Well, we all can use deduction. We know you're going to walk around your house at some point. You got to use the bathroom. You got to take a shower. Got to make you some coffee or something to eat. Hell, maybe walk to the mailbox. What is the truth about Mr. Jordan and these 3 dead men? Because now I'm starting to get very agitated. On the same day that Fox 4 confirmed that these 3 bodies were found behind Willis's home, we reached out to him to no avail, as well as to several of his family members. A close family member got back with Fox 4 and told us Willis said his friends froze to death. It's something his attorney now argues he never said. So now that's another discrepancy. And then many people question that. How would he know that they froze to death if you didn't know that they were back there? Or he just knew, he's just using deduction. Well, they out there is cold, they're stiff, so they must have froze to death. What is the truth? Paserno said his client never left the house from Sunday's gathering to watch the Chiefs game until police arrived Tuesday night. Willis's attorney said he didn't receive any text messages or calls, didn't hear anyone knock on his door, and didn't see the messages sent to him on Facebook Messenger until after the bodies were discovered. Well, it seems like to me that's when he came out this imaginary fog. It's once the police came. How about that? Paserno also said Willis didn't hear McGinney's fiance knock on the door to break into the home. Dear God, I can't take it. But minutes later, he did hear police knock on the door when they arrived at his home, after McGinney's fiance discovered one of the bodies outside. Paserno confirmed with Fox 4 that Willis has moved out of the Northland home after seeing a U-Haul parked outside of the house less than a week after the bodies were discovered. What's next? Fox 4 asked Paserno if drugs could have played a role in what took place at this Northland home. He said at this time they are still working to determine that. At last check, KCPD said they are still waiting on autopsy results and toxicology report from the medical examiner. Those will help them determine the cause of death so police can finish their part of the investigation. Well, I don't even know why you investigated. Ain't no foul play, so I'm just saying. You're so damn nonchalant about it. Oh, they just fell out. Must have had too much alcohol. Oh, Lord. We know that Platte County Prosecutor's Office has been in communication with Kansas City Police, but the case has not yet been turned over to them. Willis is not facing any charges in this case at this time. If you need verification for the information I have read to you, Fox 4 is the source. dated January 24th, 2024, and updated today at 11:58 a.m. Central Time. Thank you for joining me. Oh, Lord have mercy. What a mess. What is the truth to this debacle? I had another article to read, but for now, I'm going to go ahead because I'm 1 hour in. Gonna let you people come up. Let's get some business. This is sad to me. See, this is what I always tell you about true crime. You really don't know what's the truth. People can talk till they're blue in the face. It doesn't mean anything. Just take things at face value. That's really all you have, because you don't really know what's the truth. One second, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hope you all are well, staying warm. Oh, man. Prayers to the families, because I'm sure this is a very trying time for them, because they want answers, as they should. And I don't know what the truth is. Mercy, mercy, man. Somebody asked about what time was Jeopardy on. Yeah, that's a good question. Does it even play late? Where were they watching, on the Roku channel? Woo, Jesus, well, I don't know. See, when you have people giving conflicting information, that's when you start thinking that something is nefarious, something nefarious has happened. There's a cover up, there's something. Even if, let's say, the guys did die accidentally from an overdose. If that's the issue, I don't know. All this other stuff that Mr. Jordan is doing in the fifth wheel. And then this commentary I just brought you that other people were there. Let's address that. I'd have to do a whole live on that alone. Who are the other people, sir? From my understanding, my knowledge, I can't believe anything that you're saying. Because Jordan is the one feeding you this bullshit. This utter nonsense. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to this debacle in Kansas City. We get information now that there's a fifth wheel speaking. He left these men, 4 men behind alive. And we also get information in the commentary I brought you that there were other people in the house. Who are those people? And where are they? And will we hear from them? And will they also go get a damn lawyer? Oh, man. No, he has not been named. It's just ridiculous. How can you get to the truth when you have all these versions? They need to hurry up and bring cause of death, something. Just get it over with. I understand it takes time because you're dealing with 3 people, but my goodness gracious, this is just insane. Hello, Teresa. I have cornbread. Jen, thank you all so much for joining me. Just utter nonsense. No idea what to believe. And it's just like somebody was saying last night. I believe it was Latrice. Imagine just going about your day, thinking you're going to gather with friends, have a good time, and then end up dead at the end of the night. As old folks would say, you don't know the hour, but you're going to leave here. And that is so true. And I don't know what those guys were doing that night. I don't know if anybody was using drugs, sold drugs to them, if this was intended to be a drug party, drug get together. I don't know. I'm not here to make any accusations, but naturally people are going to assume it's drug related because you have 3 deceased people with no obvious signs of trauma to the body as per information from the police department. So you're going to just assume that it must have something to do with drugs. I don't know. But I know this is diabolical in itself. But I also said it'll probably make more sense once we get the toxicology and the autopsy report. Everything will play itself out. So anything that's been said by Mr. Jordan and the fifth wheel, Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba, whomever want to jump out of a helicopter, you better hope it makes some sense according to what they find with these dead men. And whatever else evidence gathered inside and outside, anything on doorbell cameras, ring cameras. Because if you have lied and said you stayed in the house and then somebody can show you coming in and out your house, going and coming, going to the mail, going to the trash, or taking a walk, going inside the vehicles of the men, you are up shit's creek. You and whomever. Why would this fifth person come up with jeopardy if it wasn't true? Fifth person so far doesn't have conflicting stories like Jordan's attorney. Well, Jen, I'm not here to argue about these people. I'm not here to say who is telling the truth and who is not. All I know is the lawyer has been speaking for Jordan, and he's having to backtrack everything that he says. So if anybody has a problem with anything, I say you take it up with Jordan, the lawyer, this fifth wheel, and his lawyer. Because allegedly the fifth wheel agreed with everything that happened as of a week ago. Now he has said, I left them alive. All four alive. So that is a discrepancy. Whether it's true or not, I'm just repeating his version. I'm not here to say who's telling the truth. I'll bring you the source. You entitled to chop it up as you see fit. But in the end, a version is just that, a version. Because we weren't there, we don't know who was there, who all came in and out. If there was swapping of drugs, offering of drugs, mixing of drugs, alcohol, women there. Did it ever occur to you that women could have been there? Because we're now hearing that other people were there. So somebody's throwing it out there. Somebody's feeding this lawyer this information. And that leaves, ding, 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 Mr. Jordan. How do you not see 3 sets of keys, wallets, cell phones, and 3 cars that are not yours? Well, Hagen, allegedly only 2 were on the street parked. So what I asked the chat earlier is, were those cars parked in the driveway, perhaps, and they were moved? The only reason why I would see a person park on the street is A, cars are already in the drive, number 1. Number 2, I don't want to get stuck in and somebody parked behind me and I'm ready to go and leave. Then I got to ask them to move their car. So that is the only time I can see parking on the street. The driveway is already full, or you don't want to get blocked in. So what if we find out the cars were in the drive and they were moved? I don't know, because I don't know what the hell's going on. I know, I don't believe he didn't hear somebody knocking on his door. Now, when you're in deep sleep, you probably won't hear a lot of things. Dogs barking, thunderstorms, knock at the door, deep sleep. And you still can be awakened out your sleep. Guess it depends on how asleep you are, how deep a sleeper you are. So if you're working and have headphones on, I don't know if I believe that I didn't hear anybody knocking, because I've had headphones on listening, trying to do a live stream, because I don't wear headphones doing the lives, and I can hear noise still through the headphones. I can hear work trucks outside, beeping horns, noisy neighbors. I can still hear it even with the headphones on. So I don't know what he's talking about. And you just can't believe everything people say, because people tell you anything, especially if they're lying or covering up something. Where's the broken window? I see a screen off to the side, but no glass broken. That's inaccurate too, in my opinion. Well, she got in that house some type of way, Ellie. Why am I going to lie about breaking and entering when that's a crime? Who's to say he didn't get the window fixed? May have gotten the window fixed. I'm not sure. I have no idea about anything. I just bring you the information. I haven't a clue of what is the truth and what is not the truth. I mean, God honest, I have no idea about anything. I really don't know. But if you would like to give your opinion, you are welcome to join the panel. The link is at the top. Hit it. You can either show yourself, don't show yourself. You want to give your opinion pertaining to these three men who are no longer alive, what you think happened to them, what is the truth coming from this lawyer on behalf of Mr. Jordan Willis and now a fifth will who has not been named. Why does everybody have an attorney? What is the truth? Lights on, lights off. To the door, not to the door. Sleep, unsleep. Froze, not froze. You're entitled to your opinion. I don't know what the hell's going on. I just pray that there's a resolution, a factual resolution. That's what I hope. That's all you can hope for, pray for. Factual resolution. I thought I heard it was through the basement. Yes, a basement. She broke in through the basement. Allegedly. I don't know. Well, no takers today. This is just a wicked story. Because now he's trying to say he misspoke about him leaving. Oh, I meant to say he didn't leave. He left out his bedroom sporadically, not he left the property. Oh, Lord. See, you don't know what to believe. Oh, that's fine, Ellie. Trying to find somebody that wants to join the queen to talk. Nobody wants to talk. That's the most I've got so far pertaining to this nonsense. I'm going to say this because I don't know what happened in that house, but I do find it suspect of what I've heard from family members. Text messages being read, messages sent to him, which, he could always argue that I didn't see it in Messenger, blah, blah, blah. But I just can't see you. You never looked out a window. He's got at least 5 windows in the back of that house, including the door with a window. So you mean to tell me you never look out your window ever? You go in your kitchen, you never open the blinds on a sunny day. You never open your blinds on a cloudy day, ever. And I do know that people live in the dark. They don't open windows. They don't open curtains. So then you have to ask that question. Is he the type of person that lives in a place where he never opens blinds, windows? Ever, 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 ever. Well, Hagen, he's getting this information from his clients. That's the problem. This is where the lawyer needs to say, hey, I'm not going back at there sticking my neck out for you, making a fool out of myself, making myself look, uncredible, because I'm repeating what you are telling me. Because only a fool will go out here and make up stuff on behalf of their client. You don't do that. You ask your client, well, what happened? Tell me what happened. What'd you do this morning? Tell me how you started your day. And then you take it to the press. If you put out a version and then he doubles back and says, oh, wait a minute, it didn't go down like that. That's when you need to have a talk with your client and say, look, I'm not about to do this. I'm not about to keep running to the news, retracting stuff, because that's unprofessional. It's an unprofessional look for me, whether it's your version or you lying or whatsoever. I'm the one sticking my head out. But the one thing we have learned about true crime is that when the versions start to change, especially in close proximity to the first version, that's usually a sign of deceit. Let me say it again. It's a sign of deceit. This walkie-talkie just started talking a week ago. So how do you have in a week a version, a fifth wheel brought in the week later, But the week before, the fifth wheel said, oh, yeah, I agree with everything he said. But see, that's the whole point. We never heard it from the fifth wheel's mouth. We never heard it from the fifth wheel's attorney. We heard it from Jordan's attorney. So that's a problem. And now he's saying, through his attorney, fifth wheel didn't say that. So then that means Jordan and the attorney are lying. Somebody's lying. And then who's to say he saw every damn thing that went on and went down in that house? He was there when they fell out, passed out, tooted, snorted, shot it up, whatever the hell went on, if we want to believe it's drugs. And he didn't take it, and Jordan didn't either. And I was listening to this young man's YouTube channel last night. Very stimulating conversation pertaining to all this mess. And one of the women called in, and it was something, she just perturbed the hell out of me, saying he wouldn't risk his job. I wanted to call in, but I was too tired. And I wanted to make sure I was making sense before going on somebody's panel. But I wanted to tell this lady, what the hell are you talking about? Intelligent, smart, educated people commit crimes every day. What planet are you from? Oh, so only uneducated people commit crimes? Only uneducated, dumb, illiterate people commit crimes. That's what you're saying? So all those people in penitentiary, they all have what, a second grade education? So let me think about that for just a second. How many times have I watched a true crime story podcast, documentary about a lawyer killing someone, a doctor, engineer, school teacher, professor, pastor, priest, whatever? He has so much to lose. I can't see him doing this and risking his career to be doing something nefarious. I was like, do you know this man? I mean, are you having an affair with him? Help us understand. Who are you? Because I'm not going to go on no panel and say nothing that damn dumb. I'm not getting ready to go on a live panel and say what a stranger would not do. He's educated. He has too much to lose to be doing something nefarious. Well, let somebody on Facebook tell it. Allegedly, he deals in dabbling with illicit drugs. Now, I don't know if that's true. That's just some random person talking on Facebook. See, that's the whole point. You can't believe everything that you hear about people. You need a receipt. But the point is, something happened in that man's house, on his property. That's the point. 3 people are not alive. So therefore, Missy, you need to come out this fog that you're in. Because you cannot speak for Jordan Willis. You don't know him from a can of paint. You don't know if he poisoned those guys. He concocted up some type of medicine, vaccination, got a hold of something, ordered something, put some shit together from the damn pharmacy. I don't know because I don't know him. But people buy drugs all the time. Street drugs, they order stuff online. They buy poison online. They buy poison from the store. We don't know him. He could be jealous of these guys. He could be. I've heard somebody on this network say it last night. Maybe he was jealous of the guys' relationships. They were close and he wanted to be buddy-buddy. Maybe he wanted to get back at somebody for something. I don't know. Or the guys were just experimenting and they passed out. They died. But no way am I going to sit here and say smart people don't unalive people. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So all those people that's locked up in penitentiary that have degrees and master's degrees and PhDs, they obviously didn't care about their livelihood to go unalive a human. So what was their excuse? Dear God. Exactly. There's tons of it. You don't know people. That's what's wrong with the world right now. You can't read people's minds. You don't know what's going on with people. People are harmed every day, maliciously, purposefully, intent, willful intent And they have graduated from high school. They have graduated from college. They have a master's. They have a PhD. It is what it is. There's no such thing. He's too smart for that. She's too smart for that. She would never do that. She has a doctorate. She has too much to lose. Well, a lot of people have a lot to lose. So long as you commit a crime and you go to jail, you're going to lose something. That's the point. You're going to lose something. Maybe not a lot, maybe a little, but you lose something along the way. So that's not even true for people who don't have master's degrees and doctorates. It's a price to pay for committing crimes. It's a price to pay to be an eyewitness sometimes. It's a price to pay to tell the story. Price to pay to not tell the story. Price to pay for lying, fabricating a story. So I don't know what planet this chick was from. It definitely wasn't Earth. Because I don't know what bubble she's been living in. But smart people hurt people every day. Because you don't know people. And it'll be a shame if we find out that it was a concocted drug given to the young men. They stupidly took it, trusting this guy, and then they died. I don't know what happened. I don't know if these guys are users, avid users, frequent users of narcotics. I don't know. I don't know them. But I know 3 people are not alive. I do know that. And I do believe this guy knew that they were deceased. That's the one thing I'll stand on. I believe he knew they were back there, and he just did his own thing, hoping it to go away, play possum, just let it, play itself out. That's what I think. Yes, too smart to be caught. That's what they're hoping for. And we know this with people who commit crimes. That is what they're hoping. I don't get caught. I don't get caught. You have poisons out here that you have to know what to look for. Let's just say hypothetical. This is a matter of poisoning people. If you're smart, you've gone to school, you've done your homework thoroughly, you want to unalive a person through poison, you're going to make sure to get the kind that cannot be detected readily. Because what would be the point in doing it? So we don't know if this was something he put in a drink, a piece of roll, I don't know. Or somebody just brought drugs to the house and offered it to the fellas. Or they went willingly to the house just to do the drugs. I don't know, because I don't know them. I just know 3 people aren't here. 3 people are not alive. A dirty joint. Yes, cornbread, it could be anything. Very true. People do put drugs in marijuana, blunt papers. Many young people are very stupid when it comes to smoking behind other people. You don't know what they've put in there. If they can put crack in there, they could put something else in there. Okay? So you so avid, I got to get me some weed, I got to smoke me something. You better know your friends. You could roll anything up into anything. You could put anything in a drink. You could put anything in a joint, blunt paper, rolling paper, black and mild, however you call it. You could put anything into anything. You could put anything in the food. Hey, I made some soup. Hey, I made a casserole. Try this. And let me tell you, if you're hungry, are you really looking at the food thinking, oh, I wonder if there's poison down in there? Set a punch bowl up at a party. Lace it with any type of drug, sleeping pills, anything. NyQuil. Now everybody's laid out. Don't nobody know why. And the person sitting there just laughing to themselves like, look at these fools. They just drunk that punch. They drunk that punch right on up. People under the influence of any substances, alcohol, drugs, are altered, hence mood altering substances. People under influence will do things they wouldn't be sober. Yes, that is the biggest issue. 3 people. Exactly. So that's where this situation is suspicious. One person passed out, probably wouldn't even be no story. It wouldn't be a story. What the news isn't gonna make a story because one person fell out in the house or on the back patio. 3 people dead on the patio. Yeah, you got a news story. Most definitely. And this is tragic. Although I do not use narcotics, I don't condone using narcotics, but to each his own. There are people who imbibe, that is their choice. And a lot of states have new laws pertaining to drugs, especially fentanyl, meth. Somebody passes away in your presence, your home. You have to stand account for that. You have to stand account. So as you heard at the end of the article that I read to you, the state's attorney is just waiting on the results. And that way, once they get the results, they will decide if they want to go forward with pressing charges against said people. And I'm sure both of them are very scared, as they should be, because I don't know the laws in Missouri as far as accountability of being in a home where narcotics is the culprit that led to death. I don't know the laws out there. But I do know the laws here in Tennessee. You sitting around with a bunch of people, and God forbid it's your house, you better pray everybody walks up out of there at the end of the night. Or you will be charged with a homicide, plural. And they've done it, and they're going to keep doing it. Because they want to clean the streets up of these lethal drugs. And the one thing I saw in the YouTube queue not too long ago, it was 2 cops doing some type of stop. And it was nighttime. And the lady was holding the drug, I guess it was fentanyl, and she passed out right there. And the cop's webcam shows her falling down on the ground. And I was like, oh my goodness. She fell out from holding the baggie. Now you just imagine that. The drugs are that strong that you would fall out just from holding it, coming in contact with it. So you didn't even ingest it. You know, the many ways that you can, ingest a drug. She just was in the vicinity of it and passed out. Now imagine a person taking the drug, they didn't even pass out while holding the drug, and they ingest it or shoot it up or however. That's deep. It may have been accident. It have been intentional. I pray the truth is revealed. Yes, it's very scary. And these family members want answers. They need answers, and rightfully so. And I will say this, if indeed this turns out to be a case of just some guys getting high, it will be another lesson learned that you just cannot imbibe in drugs and take any kind of drugs so you can get a temporary high. Because the one thing most of us who know about drug usage is that the person getting high continuously is trying to get the high that they got the first time. You will never get that high because there's no such thing. You can't repeat a high. You just can't do it. So you're risking your livelihood by using a drug that you don't know anything about. You don't know where it came from. You don't know what was cut in it. You don't know. You're just taking a chance because you want to get a certain type of feeling. But what you have to ask yourself, is it worth it if you're lying there with your oxygen being cut off, convulsing, and so on and so forth, heart attack, all because you want to get a high? And as I said, I do not know if this is the situation with these men. I'm just speaking hypothetically and in general. Drugs is not the answer. Not none of them. Because many people have imbibed in different types of drugs, heroin, pills, meth, crack, cocaine, and some of them have left here. Maybe not immediately after using drugs, but down the line from, profuse usage. And I remember talking to someone a few years back. He's a known crack addict. And he just said to me one day, I like getting high. I like crack. I'm not going to stop. I said, why? Why is it that you don't want to stop? Down there 60 years old, you don't want to stop. Because I like it. And I guess I saw that person in a different light. Now, I've always known the person to get high. He's always nice, friendly. And I always say, well, you treat me right. Hey, to each its own, you want to use drugs. I ain't married to you, so you're grown. But then my opinion just, I don't know, changed. Because to see somebody in their 60 years of age saying they like to get high and they don't see themselves stopping, that just took a new spin on who I was talking to. Now, some would say, well, why did you see him different? He's been getting high. Well, I didn't know for sure because I thought maybe they had changed. But they basically let me know, no, I haven't. I've been, doing a little here, doing a little there, just not as bad as I was at one time. So I felt like, well, they like it. Then they also have to like what comes with it. And the one thing we've learned about using drugs is that you have got to be able to afford it. So if you're not working full time, you're going to have to get out here and do some things to get the drugs. And they're probably going to be things that's not so nice, illegal. But that's the position you put yourself in because you want to get high. So I don't condone drug usage. I just don't. If my husband didn't come home, I would have waited 2 nights without him home before I sent police to last known location. Well, Ellie, I don't think she knew where he was because from my understanding, reading Facebook posts, when it's jumped off, I don't think she knew exactly where he was. I could stand corrected, but I thought she didn't know. I thought she had to hunt around to find the exact location of where the fiance was. So, I'm not sure because see, I don't know how well she knew Jordan herself, the fiance. That hasn't been mentioned. If it has, I haven't read it. So I don't know how well she knew Jordan and if she knew the exact location of where the guys were. It's just jacked up situation. But I'm glad she was able to find the house. Although, she broke in. I'm assuming they'll probably, give her a slap on the wrist for that, considering there are dead people in the backyard. And what is odd to me is the police speaking out so readily of no crime, no foul play. They should have never said that. That was wrong to say that. You have 3 dead people out here. You can't say there's no foul play when you don't have an autopsy and you don't have a toxicology report. You can't say that. Just because you don't see war wounds on them does not mean they couldn't have been purposefully drugged, ingested something, put in a drink or put in some food. You don't know. You're just looking at people lying down. So I thought that was very irresponsible of the Kansas City Police Department to say, we don't detect foul play. Well, if you felt like that, then hell, why even investigate? Hell, why even do an autopsy and a toxicology report? You got it all figured out once you got to the scene. Well, hey, here's your loved one. Come pick them up. Go take them to the funeral home. Because that's how it sounded. Oh, we don't see anything. Come get your loved one. We're taking them to the by ambulance to the morgue. Go pick up your son. Have a nice day. Why they should have said anything? Because now it's a matter of autopsies and toxicology reports. And that's what the family wanted, and they have every right to want it. Because you got three people, as I just said, not one. Not somebody saying, well, I think my brother passed away from a heart attack or stroke. Don't do no autopsy. He been sick anyway. Well, we have three people lying down. So I can't see anybody related to these three not wanting answers, even if it's answers they don't want to hear. Let's go there. Does any of the family of these victims know willingly, with a receipt, that their loved one got high? Because that's the one thing you're not hearing from anybody in the group. Yes, I know my brother, cousin, nephew was an avid drug user, used to use drugs, still uses drugs. Because that'll be interesting if somebody knows that they do use drugs, but they don't want to say it on camera. Yeah, I know he gets high. Oh, yeah, I know he hangs with people that get high. I mean, just saying, hypothetical. How can they investigate now that the house has been cleared out? Well, Jen, that's what you're supposed to do when you go to the crime scene. They went to the crime scene and made the assertion that it was no foul play. So when you're there, you're supposed to be looking at everything. Outside, the victims, how they're dressed, shoes on, shoes off, drag marks, blood, any liquids coming out of the body. Then you go in the house. You check the doors, door locked, unlocked. See, that's another thing. The little things that people don't think about when a story is being spun. Was that back door locked or unlocked? Stay woke. Blinds up, blinds down. Cigarette butts outside. Any type of fire pit that was possibly burned to where they could have been just sitting outside near a fire trying to, socialize. What was found inside of the house? Clean, everything wiped down, no dishes out. What's in the trash can? What's in the bathroom trash cans? What's inside of the bathroom? Any type of blood splatter or anything. As I said, did anybody throw up? Those are the questions you have to ask. What was seen outside, inside? And what will CCTV footage tell us of the neighborhood? Anybody directly close to this house, doorbell cameras, any type of suspicious activity of people coming and going after midnight? How many people actually went to the house January 7th? How many people came in, went out, stayed for a while? Will we find out somebody stayed longer than one day? I heard it was a B&B. A what? Well, what are you talking about? A bed and breakfast. Is that what you're saying? I don't understand. I think what's going to be interesting is this new information that other people were there. Who are the other people? See, that's something new that this lawyer is spinning. See, for all we know, Jordan is making this stuff up. You don't know what to believe. I got to bring some other people in. Got to bring some other people in. They ain't going to ring me up for this. Don't you see what's happening here? He's spinning the narrative different ways. And that's usually a sign of deceit. Guilty knowledge of something nefarious. When you spin a story about something that happened, you only have to spin it one time. And it never deviates. It never changes because the truth needs no explanation and it never needs to change. You only change things because what you have told is not working to your benefit. So now you have to add something else or retract something. And that is what you're seeing here. Not even 3 weeks in, you've got different versions. You've got a fifth wheel. Now this article I've just read tells you that there are other people that were at the house allegedly. So who are those people? Will we hear from them? What do they have to say? What did they see? Were they also imbibing, drinking, using drugs? Were they actually watching Jeopardy? See, you don't know what to believe. Because in order to cover up a crime and to keep yourself out of harm's way as being involved, you will say any damn thing. You don't got the right spirit? Hell yeah, you will lie. I ain't going down for this. I ain't going down for this. Hold on one second, everybody. Fingers are starting to point. Exactly. Yeah, we don't know what they ate that day. Any type of public places such as fast food. So you have to ask all those questions. Yeah, what did they eat before going to this house? Was there food served at the house? Snacks, handmade food, boxed food, from the freezer, from the restaurant, grocery store. What did they eat? How much did they eat? Were they using any type of narcotic before they got there? Bingo card. See, you don't know. Because we haven't even verified that they actually watched the game there. It started with they watched the game there. But then in another article, it says they all met up at the house after the game. So how are you going to meet up there if you were supposed to already be there watching the game? Was it a party pad? Good question. That's what I was saying. Is this a place where people go to get high, drink, get turned up, get crunk? I don't know. Do all the people who frequent the house or came to the house that night actually use drugs, actually drink? See, you have to know all that. Because now we got this new business. Besides the fifth wheel, we now have other people. So how many other people are we talking about? Well, it'd be sick to know that it's a party house or a flop house when he's allegedly a professional, a scientist, as some woman loved to say on somebody else's network. I can't see him risking his livelihood or his job to be involved in anything like this. I thought to myself, God, this lady must be high on dope herself. There are people who are professionals that use drugs often, sporadically, frequently, recreationally. Can't put people in a box and say what they would and would not do. You have a lot of people who are professionals. They have good paying jobs. They're educated. They don't live no better than anybody else. Okay? One moment, everybody. All right, everybody. Sorry about that. Sweet Tea, hello. Sweet Tea, why don't you join me for a minute? You got time to give me your opinion? People who have money also are accustomed to having a golden parachute. They can be very reckless. Yes, very true, Sherry. Yes. Hello, sweetheart. Hit the link, sweet tea. Give me your opinion on these 3 deaths coming out of Kansas City before I check out of here. I'm almost into hour number 2. I want to hold you guys. But we're not going to know anything unless somebody decides they want to tell the truth and just get it over with before the autopsy reports get released. Will somebody just tell the truth? Just say, well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this is what was going on at the house. And I think this happened. Because, there's nothing wrong with being truthful. That saves a lot of misery, in my opinion. People don't have to like, the results, but what's wrong with just telling the truth of what happened? But it ends all this nonsense. Because it doesn't have to go on like this. Even though I'm sure they still want the autopsies, just to verify everything. But if this guy has some knowledge of something nefarious that went on, why not just tell it and be done with it? And then we wait to hear what the autopsies and the coroner report has to say. All these attorneys can't keep the story straight. Yeah, well, Carol, these are the stories that they're feeding the attorneys. You always got to remember, your attorney doesn't know no more than what you tell him or her. So if you even did something nefarious or you saw something, you can tell your attorney. That's their job. They're not supposed to repeat anything about what you did past. The only time they're supposed to consult with police is if you are planning to do something nefarious, such as commit a crime. Then by law, they're supposed to give up the goods. But whatever you did yesterday, 5 years ago, he or she cannot tell the general public so they won't become disbarred. So I don't know. I've wondered that. Has Jordan told the attorney everything he saw and witnessed? And this attorney just doesn't know how to spin the wheel because it's something that's off with him changing, retracting. Oh, I meant to say this. This ain't what I meant to say. Yeah, he ain't left the house. Or what I meant to say is he moved around the house sporadically, but he ain't go outside. Come on. You're a lawyer. You're supposed to ask your client verbatim. What do you mean by this? Same thing when you dial 911. She or he will ask you pertinent questions about why you're calling 911. That's why they'll keep asking you the same thing over and over so they can make sure they're getting all the information correct. You are an attorney. That is the same thing. You're supposed to do the same thing. Where were you? What happened? How many people were there? How did they look? How did they act? Did you get any calls? This and that. Did you respond? They'll ask you 1,000 questions. And yet somehow this attorney, he can't get the information out properly, which to me is baffling. So my thing is, once you got one version from Jordan, you should not have came back and repeated anything else to the general public. That's my public opinion. That's my public opinion. I think Jordan is a hardcore alcoholic. That's why he used the wine bottle as a prop to create the narrative, in my opinion. Too drunk to know a damn thing. I understand what you mean, Sherry. If he's a hardcore alcoholic, he doesn't need a prop. Why do you need a prop if you're an alcoholic? If he's a drunk, he stays drunk. If he got up with that wine glass, who's to say he walked with it, because that's what he's about. He likes to drink. He was drinking when they were banging on the door. He was drinking when she broke in. Hell, who's to say he wasn't just standing there drinking while she's screaming and hollering, hey, what's going on? Why are these people dead? And he had no answer. Because I find it strange she's not repeated what he said, or I haven't heard. What did he say happened when she found the body? What did he say when he saw her in his house? This is a big blur. Oh, to reinforce his image. Well, I don't know. Queen, are you going to do a show on the P. Diddy mess? Oh, probably not. I think I might have done one video since all that mess started months ago, but no, I probably won't talk about it. I'll share an update, but I won't talk about Puff Diddy. It's just, I've had about enough of the entertainers. Sweet Tea, are you still in the chat? You all are welcome to hit the link and join the Queen if you like. I think he would use the drinking as an excuse. Yeah, he probably will. I was out of it. I've been binge drinking. But then that's going to look even more crazy because people are going to say, well, how are you working? Hello? Can you speak? I thought you were going to hit the link. Okay, so can you give an opinion or you can't? About the three, because I wanted to tell you that you know now that there are other people that were at the house.
Oh wow, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I read it off during the beginning of the live stream.
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't see it when you said that you were hit the link that you were getting ready to start it. I was already en route.
Okay, that's fine.
To go pick him up.
Yeah. I read commentary from the news that states that now Mr. Jordan's lawyer is saying that other people were there. He says, I'm now finding out that other people were there. What do you think about that?
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
The story, just all these different scenarios, where the story just keeps changing and changing and changing. And I remember you saying last night, how many, will there be
a new version?
Out, that there was a fifth person. Will there be a sixth, a seventh, a eighth?
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll get to it in a minute. Wow. One thing that I will say is that the lawyer of the fifth guy,
yeah,
he says that Jordan's lawyer, I was trying to get my bearings together, that Jordan's lawyer, Jordan's statements conflict with what his what the fifth man says. And I remember them saying that, I remember him saying specifically that the police talked to both of them at the same time, and that their stories, added up to be the same.
That was last week. Yeah, that was last week's version that he corroborated. That's his lawyer. Jordan's lawyer said the fifth person will corroborate what was said originally. But now he's got an attorney and he's making it clear, his attorney, that no, I left 4 people behind alive and I left at 12ish or so. I didn't stay behind with the 3 dead men while he went to sleep. Hello?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just keeps changing. I did see on another
somebody in the chat said it must be something more to the story.
There sounds like there's a lot more to the story.
Okay.
A lot more to the story.
Yeah, because guess what? If you got more people, then everything that's been said is out the window by both. How about that? Both.
Right,
at this point. Right.
The fifth man says that he didn't get there until after 7, and he left at 11 p.m.
12.
Oh, okay, left at 12. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
One of the guys was texting a little bit back and forth with one of his friends.
Relatives, yeah.
And the last time she spoke with him, well, she didn't speak with him. The last time she heard from him was at 11:55 p.m.
Okay.
So, wow, what happened after 11:50? What happened after, then?
Now say it again. A girl talked to who? The fifth wheel?
No, she spoke with one of the three.
Oh, the girlfriend who found them dead?
No. It wasn't the girlfriend. It was she was a friend of his.
Okay.
A friend of another one of the three. I can't remember.
So one female talked to one of the dead people at 11:55.
Yeah, he texted her.
Okay.
But she didn't. They had been texting because she posted them. I saw it on a,
Yeah, I think I heard something like that. So what are you trying to say? That the man was dead at 11:55?
No, he was awake at 11:55 because he texted her. That was the last text that she received.
Oh, okay, that's what you said. Okay, so something happened after that. Maybe I don't know.
Right, something apparently happened after that last text that he sent her. So what I'm saying is,
I hear what you're saying. 11:55. She's saying 11:55, and then now he's saying I left at 12.
Right, and another thing that I wanted to say was that I just lost my train of thought. Okay. Jordan said that they left about 11. I think maybe that's where the 11 o'clock came in at, because I'm remembering someone.
They left what at 11, honey? Left where?
Jordan's house. Yeah, Jordan's house.
Who said that?
That's what Jordan said in his first statement. If my memory serves me correctly,
okay.
I could be wrong, but he said that was around about somewhere in there, 11:30, that they left. So how we always say the details, the truth is in somewhere in the lies, the details. So I was wondering, could it have been that the fifth person is the one who left and not the three? And he just, switched it around? I don't know. That just kind of crossed my mind.
Well, he's giving different versions, remember? They left. No, first it was, I can't remember, that they stayed behind when he went to sleep. Then it was, I walked them to the door, remember?
Right.
Now you got a fifth wheel saying I left all of them behind.
Yeah, he said everybody, they were all alive when he left.
Yeah. So what is the truth?
Yeah.
So you don't even know what the truth is, because this lawyer keeps spinning these stupid versions on behalf of his client, which is not a good idea. As I said, you can't tell people, I tell my clients not to speak, but you're spinning webs that don't add up. You need to quit talking yourself. Take your own advice and quit talking.
Right.
I wouldn't keep talking. I would give another statement. As I read one article, they asked him about the discrepancies and he declined to comment, says the news. So the lawyer.
Oh, wow.
Because you can't, because he keeps fumbling the ball. So why are you going to keep talking to the news? So now we got to wait to see if the fifth wheel comes out and speak on his own, or his lawyer speaks out. Now we got to also wait to see who are the other people in the house. Are they going to come forward and speak?
Right.
And then Jordan, the fifth wheel, he only came about because people were texting him about the guys not showing back up. Because I was wondering, well, how did he find out about these dead people allegedly? So his version is, they were texting me, hey, have you seen such and such, such and such? So he called Jordan and one of the dead guys, and he didn't get a response from either one.
So are we to assume that he went back over there to check to see what was going on?
I don't know. He's not telling you that he went back over there.
Yeah, so what he's left out is that, so when did you find out that they were dead? When everyone else found out?
I don't know. So what are you trying to say? You think he went over there to see for himself, saw the cars?
I don't know. Just all these different, scenarios, and everybody's stories is just not matching up. And then
now imagine that. Imagine he went over there banging on the door after he's tried calling the dead guy and Jordan, no answers. Let me go drive over here and see what's going on. And he sees that the cars are there. So now he's gonna wonder, okay, why they cars here? Aren't they supposed to be going to work? See, this is why you know this is bullshit.
Right.
You want me to believe none of these men had to go to work Monday, Tuesday?
Exactly, but they all had jobs.
And for all we know, the fifth wheel knew everything that happened too, and he's just playing dumb. Because allegedly he cooperated everything. So why are you now changing your mind and say, I left? Maybe you're trying to put yourself in a place out of that house. I don't know nothing. I didn't see nothing. I'm not cooperating nothing. Because then if I'm cooperating, then I'm riding on your lie that you're spinning. And if they can bring proof to show something nefarious happened or accidental and you did know they were dead, now I'm co-signing it so then they can loop me in. He knew exactly what he's doing by saying, I left everybody alive watching Jeopardy.
Exactly. Watching Jeopardy, excuse me, playing dice, and what else? What else did he say?
Video games.
Jeopardy, playing dice, okay, and the video game.
Yeah, I got to remove myself because I'm not getting ready to go down for whatever happened in that house, especially if Missouri has laws about being in a company of people overdosing and you don't report it. Now we got to ask that question too. Has there ever been law enforcement at that house for anything else nefarious or any type of overdose or any type of domestic situations? Any disturbance calls, too loud, rowdy, loud music? So you have to see, it's a lot of questions you have to ask when you're talking about stuff you don't have no answer to. Because you don't know the people, you don't know nothing about them. The only people that can really tell us something about the dead are the people that's close to them. And then you have to question that. Will they tell you the whole truth about the people, or will they fudge things, leave things out because they don't want people judging them? But there's always somebody that knows the truth about people. That's just it. It's not saying that they can tell us every little detail that a person has done and said, but they can give you a general idea of the people. And what I like to know is there somebody that can come out and say right now, yes, I know that this group gets high?
Exactly.
Somebody says it sounds more like a flop house to me. Wow. Damn, LSD.
Another thing that I want to mention, when he said that yard is a very big backyard.
Yeah.
And the table, the window that's right there in the kitchen, right there in front of the table.
Yeah.
I don't see how with those thin curtains, I don't see how with those thin curtains that he wouldn't have been able to see that. He still wants us to believe that he did not see them back there.
Yeah, well, everything's going to bank on his version. Do you believe what he has told? That's the bottom line. Is he the type to go in his kitchen often? Does he cook? Does he order out? See where I'm going?
Right.
Where is the couch in proximity to the kitchen? All that matters, because in the end, all you have is the version of this man, now a second party, and then you have to wait on the autopsy reports and the toxicology. That's all you got.
Yeah, that's all we have. We don't have any clues or anything.
No. Because one thing I've learned about certain people, a lot of people don't like to come out and tell people the truth about the people that's immersed in a story as not to embarrass them. But if the toxicology report comes back to show drug use, it's going to come out either way. So I always said, why not go ahead and beat it to the punch and tell people, yeah, we were getting high. Yeah, my brother got high. Yeah, my boyfriend got high. Just tell it and get it over with.
Exactly. Someone may mention that Jordan stated, and of course this is for, I think, I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but they stated that Jordan said that they were doing something, but
that's the nephew of one of the men, I think, or cousin, or young guy. Facebook page.
He didn't partake in it because he said that I guess he was worried about them his job finding the drugs or whatever they were doing in his system. So he just told them, no, you all go ahead,
Well, see, what you got to ask yourself is this: where is the job located? Is it actually in the same city where he lives? See, you don't even know that. Do you know?
No, hadn't heard anyone
right.
mention it.
Could he be working for a company that's not even in the state of Missouri? So if you don't have a job that's in your state, let's say he applied for the job online, uploaded all his credentials, did Zoom calls to get hired and all that, how he gonna be drug tested? I'm just saying. See, we don't know all that. Yeah, we had to Google that name of that company to see if it's even in the state of Missouri or even in Kansas City or a suburb, because I didn't Google to even see where the company was.
Do we know what the name of the company is?
I'd have to go back.
Yeah.
I have to go back and look.
Yeah.
Ellie saying his attorney stated he was moving around the house, cooking and working. Well, I hadn't heard that. I just heard him retract. He was moving around sporadically. He meant to say moving around the house, but not outside. See, it's just too much.
Right. It is.
Yeah, it's too much retracting and adding and a fifth wheel. Now it's more people at the house. So why am I going to believe anything that you said since the day the police showed up and found the dead men?
Right.
Dogs over here, this and that. It's an answer for everything. This is what's strange and ironic at the same time. You got an answer for every fucking question, but you don't have an answer for why the fuck 3 of your friends are laying down.
Exactly.
Up and around, down, sleep, headphones on, can't hear you knocking, dogs away, never left the house, drinking, this and that, working from home, just a bunch of versions, but yet you have no idea why your friends are dead. That's what I find interesting. You ask this motherfucker any kind of question, he got an answer, but he sure in hell can't come up with the logical one to say why he think them folks are laying down. Because I know if you know them and you hang with them, you have a general idea why your friends are lying down dead. Not 1, not 2, but 3. So why not give that version? This is what I think happened to my friends. Not I think that they froze to death.
Right. Right, but we all can see that's not.
Just tell the damn truth and be done with it. Yes, we occasionally get high. We meet over here to get high. The guys had dope.
Exactly.
Just be done with it.
Yeah, because you still not. What I don't understand about criminals is, and I guess we wouldn't understand because we're not criminals. They're always trying to find a way to do wrong and get away with it.
Well, that's the point.
In the end, they wind up getting caught.
Yeah,
anyway.
Because the thing people forgot about, don't think about a crime, whether you're a criminal or not. 50 ways to commit a crime, 100 ways to get caught.
Exactly.
Because what you plan out in your head, it doesn't always work in your favor. You have seen people take meticulous notes about the victim, where they're going to be, when they get off from work, if they'll be alone, all type of shit, and they still get caught. Because we live in a modern world to where you are seen going and coming. You go log on to things that leaves a trail. Whether you bust up the computer, it's still there. Google searches, still there. There's no such thing as erasing any damn thing.
Right.
You don't know who has a camera on their house, garage, doorbell, front of the house, in the window. You don't know.
Right.
You don't know who's outside, watering a plant, walking a dog, smoking a cigarette. So you out here fumbling around, looking, lurking. You don't know if somebody was just sitting out bored or was looking out their window at 1 a.m.
Exactly.
And that's about what's going to happen in this situation. There's going to be somebody probably with a doorbell camera that can see the cars coming and going and parking in the damn garage or the drive or on the street. I asked every pertinent question I could think of at the beginning of this live stream pertaining to what has been said and not said.
Right. Do we know or have we heard where the cars were, the two cars?
See, I asked that. Yeah, they were on the street. Allegedly. But I said, how do you know they weren't moved?
Right.
Do the guys normally park on the street? Do they park in the drive? Do they park in the garage? Where does the owner park his car? What type of car does he have? Did he go in the cars? Did anybody go in their cars? Take anything out? Did they empty the trash? When does the trash run? Do you got to take the trash to the front of the street or you put it in the back? Is it accessible for them to go in the back to get the trash? So you have to ask all those kind of questions. Did he bring anything out in a trash bag, put it in a car, drive it out? Did he clean up that night or he went straight to bed? Clean up the next day. So I don't know. Hey, Sundown. I have no idea. But it's a very bizarre situation. But then I always say the flip side of this, saying it's bizarre, it's probably not bizarre. It's just we don't know what they died from. Once we find out what they died from, the rest will possibly fall into place. All the little things we don't know.
Exactly. Whatever it was, it appears that they all passed away.
From the same thing.
From the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And around about the same time.
Yeah. And that's just so scary that, and it's not to say that people have not overdosed, because they have some cases. I remember a case a year or so ago, they found a year or two ago, some people were in an apartment and they found them overdosed in the apartment. It was more than one person. And that was drug related.
Wow.
So this could be an issue of drugs, or, as I said, concocted method by somebody. Mr. Jordan, the fifth wheel, or whomever.
Right.
May not even be street drugs. Could just be something he concocted and handed it to him. But like I said, even if it's that, why would I take it if I'm not a drug user? So you have to ask all the pertinent questions because we don't know them. We don't know who's ever used drugs, not, all of that's relevant. Are we talking about people who actually use narcotics at the time before the deaths? Were any of them avid users, frequent users?
Right.
And why do we have two people alive now? First, we only had one, now it's two. So that's why I said, if we're going to start with now two, who's to say there weren't more people? Now, you read this article, I believe it was from Fox 4. Okay. Oh, I've come to understand there were more people there. Oh, okay. How convenient. More people there. So how many more are we talking about now?
Wow. There's no telling.
Yeah. What if we find out there were women there? If that's the truth. So you don't know what's the truth.
You don't.
Jordan could be making all this shit up. But guess what? If you stupidly told your lawyer that and your lawyer stupidly told the news, well, the news is now going to ask, well, who are those people? Does the police know about them? Have they talked to the police? So then people are going to be wanting names. Well, who are those people? Just digging a deeper hole.
Yeah, the hole, this rabbit hole, is
yeah.
Just getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. When the thing to do from the start was just to say, hey,
yeah.
They started, it first happened. If they had called 911, they could have gotten there hurriedly.
Coco says, I think it's up to 7 now. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And giving them some Narcan.
Yeah.
And, hey,
Yeah.
As opposed to just taking them and dumping them, just dump them in the backyard.
Yep. And let's ask that too. Did anybody have any Narcan on them? Anybody in the house had it? Because then you have to say to yourself, if you find out that anybody had Narcan, then that means you all are users. Because that's not something normal to have on you. So that's why I said with this story, you can ask 1,000 questions. Because you don't know what's really going on.
Right. You just don't.
Yeah.
It's just a really sad situation.
It'll be really interesting if you find out they had a whole house full of folks.
And no one,
And they all was outside, and let's go here, stupidly outside in the cold, and people witnessed a bunch of 3 men fall out, and everybody scattered and left.
Right.
That's what'll be interesting. There were more people there, and there were people that watched them fall out, and they all left. Ellie's talking about benzodiazepines and alcohol can be a fatal cocktail. Yeah, any type of drug with alcohol is not good.
Right.
It's a bad situation.
Yeah, it really is. But I'm gonna have to get off.
Go ahead. That's why I'm going to get off. Thank you for your few minutes of time, your time. Thank you, honey. Okay. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. That's one of the chat members, Latrice. I'm not going to hold you all, but when I get another update, another version, I will surely bring you the said information. Prayers to the family members, friends, the community. I know that these guys are missed. There are people wanting answers to what happened in that house. And when I get the information, I will bring it to you. But as I've always said on this network, everything's about a version. You either believe the version or you don't believe it. And somewhere, yes, in the versions, the truth is in there mixed up somewhere. It's just a matter of getting it out. Thank you. You're welcome, sweetheart. It's a matter of getting it out. I don't know what happened in that house, but like I said, I do believe this man knew that they were deceased and he played the role like he didn't. Now, did he give them a fatal cocktail deliberately of some type of narcotic, manufactured drug? I don't know. Street drug? I don't know. Or the guys came with their own drugs, or somebody came with the drug and gave it to the guys. I don't know. But there are too many discrepancies of watching the game there, not watching it. More people there, fifth wheel. Now we got more people involved. Dogs gone. Walking people to the door, didn't walk them to the door. Watching Jeopardy, I left. Went to sleep, they were left behind. See, you don't know what to believe. But I always say that when you get different versions from a person at the beginning of an investigation, if he or she starts to shift their story, it is because there's deception. You have no reason to spin multiple versions of what happened in a house. If you don't know anything, then you don't know anything. And that's what you say, and you stay on that and you stick with it. You never let a lawyer start spinning different webs. And a lawyer knows better. So I don't understand this attorney working for Mr. Jordan. Why are you spinning more webs on behalf of your client? That's foolish. And maybe you need to find another client. Or he needs to find another attorney. Take your pick. Yeah, it's all ridiculous. Oh, extra people say dog was there. Well, they may have been. See, that's the whole point of the story. Is that you don't know what's the truth. The story has changed immensely in 1 week. You think about that. In 1 week, you have, I don't know how many versions. A man has moved out of a house. Don't know if he was told to move from the landlord or he left on his own. Dogs in, dogs out. You don't know if the people were drug outside or fell out there. You don't know how many people were in the house. Don't know if they were poisoned or given a street drug, concoction. They were getting high. I don't know. Drinking mixed into. Flop house, party house. Don't know. Something they do regular. Get together, get high. Don't know. Who's an addict, not an addict? That's how you get to the bottom of the story. You ask questions. Are these people known users? That's what I'm waiting to hear somebody come out and finally say, yes, this one was a known user. Yes, these two were known users. Then the rest will fit into the story, will put itself together. What bad about who's lying? Because let's just say this is an issue, just some people fell out from drugs. I gotta lie because they died at my house. Law may find me culpable for them dying in my house. So I gotta play dumb like I didn't know them dead folks was laying back there. I didn't have no way to get them, dump them. But you gotta think about that. He knew he couldn't move the bodies. That means I'm gonna need help. And think about that if he did know those guys were back there dead. What if he was really sinister and pulled a truck up in there, bagged it up in the garage, and loaded them guys up in the truck and went and dumped them some damn where? Because it happens all the time. That a lot of people who have been discarded out in rivers and the woods, there were overdoses. And that was one of the myths pertaining to missing women in Chillicothe, Ohio. That they were overdoses. And the people who company they were in discarded them out, and so they wouldn't be involved in the crime as being an eyewitness. So see, you never know. Because that's what's going to be disturbing is it can be proven that he knew that they were back there. And everybody is different when it comes to covering up a crime after the fact. People will go to great lengths to hide the truth. So we have to decide if this man had full knowledge that they were back there, if indeed this was a deliberate homicide times 3 or just accidental. He'll never admit that he gave them something, whether it be manufactured by him, over the counter, or a street drug. Who's going to do that? Yeah, I gave him some drugs. Yeah, I mixed it up. Yeah, I made a cocktail. Yeah, he would never tell that. Never. They would have to find proof. And I've got a feeling that somebody in that group possibly could be a user or was a user at the time. I don't put my stamp on anything just yet because I don't know the men. I don't know what they were into, their habits. I don't know Mr. Jordan, what his habits are, nor do I know who the fifth wheel is and what his habits are. But what I do know is I do believe he knew that they were back there. And I will put my stamp on that if I don't put my stamp on anything else. He lied around, played possum, and waited till the bang came. And just played dumb. That's my commentary. Thank you all so much for joining me. Starting to get a little chilly in the high 10, raining expected this weekend. God bless all of you. Stay safe, stay warm. Please follow my extensive library of 2,000 plus videos in the YouTube queue. Please check out my recent lives pertaining to Rex Heuermann, Scott Peterson. Got some uploads pertaining to those said subject matters. The next live stream will be pertaining to Rex Heuermann. What will his defense be since now DNA has linked him, his wife, and daughter to the victims of Gilgo Beach? I'll bring that at a later date, and I will continue my coverage pertaining to Summer Wells and any other updates pertaining to Allison Harris, Boy H, and the other siblings and any other debacle that may come out from there. People Magazine just uploaded another article about the 3 guys. I'll check into that and see what they're talking about. But anyway, countdown to the birthday of the Queen. Monday's the big day, 5/3. Thank you all for the support, the love, new members, subs, viewers, chat members. Thank you all so much for the love. I will talk to you all at a later date. And once again, if you'd like to donate to this great network, $, Big Angie, 129 Cash App, stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you all so much for your time. Prayers for the victims' families. Prayers for answers and the truth to be revealed. Prayers for proper investigation and no stone left unturned. You've been listening to the Vault Excel.